I'm back with another guide on how to attack and defend as Breach, and this time around Lotus, and we're gonna start over on the A side. If you're attacking the A side, there are 7 stuns. The first stun is for A main and anyone holding a very tight angle over here. So if the enemy team is fighting for A main, you can stun like this. The second stun will hit this area. And the third stun will hit this area again and also stairs. Or if you just want to stun stairs, you can do that from this spot. Or from this spot. And stun number 4 will hit this spot and a top. And stun number 5 is for backside plus drop. And stun number 6 is for this spot and this spot. And the last stun is for backside plus drop, but from tree instead. This flash is especially useful if you expect that the enemy team will fight for A. So let's say they have a jett, raze or an iann that dashes rubble. If we flash through this wall, they will not be blind, so we flash through this pillar instead. And if you make it all the way up here and your team wants to execute A, you can flash through this wall right here. This will flash under heaven, and anyone playing outside tree over here. We could also flash tree like this instead of stunning it. And if we make it all the way into tree, we can also flash through this wall right here. Backside like this. On the side of this thing as well. Or if you have a teammate that wants to push drop and fight for heaven, you can also flash for them like this. Just be careful when you do these ones from tree, because you do have to go quite far out to use these flashes. And if your team wants to fight for a link, you can also flash through this wall. And the aftershock can go through this wall into this corner right here. Just make sure you line this up properly so there's nowhere to stand. And this one is insanely good together with the stun. We can also use the aftershock for the drop area, and we want to make sure that we aftershock to the left side of this box. And the reason we do that is because if we don't, and we just aftershock in the middle of this box, for example, they can jump up and avoid the aftershock. Sometimes they avoid 1 tick, sometimes they avoid 2 if they have a really good timing. But if we aftershock right here, they cannot actually avoid the aftershock. And the last aftershock is for backside. This is also really good together with the stun. And again, be very careful when you use this one, because you do have to go quite far out to be able to use it. In a post plan on A, there are 4 stuns. The first stun is for stairs. So if you have teammates that want to fight really aggressive, you can stun stairs for them like this. Just make sure you don't die to someone coming out of drop or from heaven when you're lining up this one. The second stun is if you're playing tree, you can stun like this. The third stun is the same thing but towards A main instead. Or if you're playing backside, you can also stun heaven like this. If you're playing the post plan in tree and you have a teammate playing drop, you can flash through the corner of this box right here if they want to peek heaven. You can also flash through this wall into hut. Just beware, because if you flash through this wall, this does not flash anyone standing right here. And you can also flash through this wall if your teammate wants to peek heaven from drop. If the enemy team is retaking through A main, you can flash close like this. Or farther away like this if you want to have time to get your gun out. But this one is a bit more risky because they might already have progressed past your flash, and in that case they don't even have to turn it. So this one is more safe. This one is a bit more risky but could be more effective, and you could even do a more extreme version of this and flash all the way over here. And if your team is playing A main and they want to peek stairs, you can also flash through this wall right here. And if you look at the minimap right now, we're flashing into the corner. And what we want to do here is flash slightly to the left on this little wall right here, so anyone standing in this corner will also be blind. And if you're playing backside outside of tree, we can do the same trick as well. We can just flash straight through this wall instead. And we can also flash heaven like this. And the aftershock in the post plan can go into drop, A main to delay the retake, or just on the spike. If we're attacking B, there are 3 stuns. The first stun is for B main, and this one is to punish anyone trying to get behind this box or take a peek over here. This one is usually done together with a jett, raze or an iann that can dash into B main really fast and take advantage of the stun. The second stun is for a link. And the third stun is for this, this and this spot. The flash can go into a link like this. Or you can flash side like this. Or you can flash into C-link like this. And the aftershock can go into A-link to prevent anyone coming through A-link onto the bomb site to help. And you can also use it right here to prevent anyone coming through C-link onto the bomb site as well. In a post plan on B, there are 5 stuns. The first stun is for A link. So when the enemy team is retaking through A link, you can stun like this. Just make sure you don't die from a C link if you're lining up this one. The second stun is for C links. When the enemy team is retaking through C link, you can stun like this. And the third stun is for B heaven. So when the enemy team is retaking through B heaven, you can stun B heaven like this. And this is also doable from over here or from A link. And stun number 4 is if you have control of A link and your team wants to go hyper aggressive into the defender spawn area, you can also stun like this. And stun number 5 is the same thing but for C link this time. So if your team wants to go into C link and catch the enemy before they've started the retake, you can also stun like this. If your team wants to peek towards defender spawn, you can also flash through this wall instead of stunning. And we can do the same thing for C link as well. So we flash through this wall, but we go slightly to the left, so we flash this tunnel as well. And if you have a teammate playing in this corner, you can also flash B heaven for them like this. Or if you have a teammate playing right here and they want to peek A link while the enemy team is retaking, you can also flash through this wall. And if the enemy team is retaking through C link, you can also flash through this wall right here. This one travels for quite a long time, so you have time to get your gun out. And the AWP can go right here to delay the enemy's retake through A link, through C link, or on the spike if it's planted over here. Or if you're playing on the bomb site, you can also AWP through the floor right here, or through the wall like this. And if we're attacking C, there are 3 stuns. The first stun is to punish anyone trying to peek outside of C main, and this one is doable from a lot of different spots. I like to go all the way here to get a cleaner lineup. Just beware so you don't die from a push from B main, but it's also doable from over here. The second stun is to hit anyone pushing out of waterfall and playing behind this pillar right here. This is probably the stun I use the most when I attack C. And the last stun is for C bend. And we can also flash C long instead of stunning it, and we flash through this wall right here. This will blind anyone pushing up to mount or playing C main with an operator, for example. And we can also blind through this wall. This will hit anyone coming out of waterfall and playing in this area. Make sure you flash quite high so you also hit plateau. And we can also flash through this box, or we can flash through this pillar. The AWP can go through this wall to prevent anyone coming out of waterfall to help C or punish them as they are. And you can also AWP bend. I don't do this one that often though, because you can still hide up here. And then you can also AWP through this pillar. In a post plan on C, there are 5 stuns. The first stun is if your team wants to go super aggressive into C waterfall, you can stun like this. And the second stun is the same stun as we do on attacks. We stun outside waterfall and backside as the enemy team is retaking. And the third stun is if you're playing band or plateau and the enemy team is retaking through waterfall, you can stun like this. Just be careful if you're gonna peek this so you don't die from this spot. Then stun number 4 is for backside. And the last stun is just stunning in a straight line towards C hall. And you can also angle it slightly to the right to catch anyone coming out of waterfall. As for the flashes, we can do the same flash as we do on attack, where we flash right here to flash anyone coming out of waterfall or playing right here. But this time we want to flash low so we don't flash any of our teammates on plateau, unless the enemy team has already taken plateau, of course. And we can also flash through this pillar. Or if your teammates want to go super aggressive into C waterfall, you can also flash right here. And the same thing goes for C hall. So if your teammates want to go super aggressive into this place, you can also flash right here. And the AWP can go through this wall right here to delay the enemy's retake through waterfall. You can also AWP through this wall if the spike is planted on plateau. And you can do the same thing from over here, through this wall, and through this wall. And if you're playing C band, you can also AWP through this wall to delay the enemy retake through a C hall. Or you can AWP through this wall to delay the enemy retake through waterfall from a front site. And you can also AWP through this pillar to delay the enemy retake through a C hall. If you're defending A, there are 4 stuns. The first stun is for a lobby, and this is your standard stun when your team wants to fight for a lobby. And you can also do this from a link. And there's also a variation of this where you walk into B main and stun in a straight line towards rubble. Just be very careful you don't die to a B push if you're doing this one. The second stun is if you're playing tree and the enemy team is opening the door, you can stun in a straight line like this. And the third stun is if you have a teammate playing in tree and the enemy team is opening the door, you can stun in a line like this. This one has been really successful for me when you have a teammate playing in tree, because not only will you hit the enemy opening the door right here, but you will also hit the enemies that are pushing up maybe here or taking the orb over here, and this has resulted in a lot of 2 and 3 Ks for my teammates. And the last stun is to catch the enemy as they're exiting tree to enter the bomb site. The standard flash for A is just flashing through rubble when your team is fighting for A main at the start of the round. If you lost the fight for A or maybe your team just didn't want to fight for it, you can also flash into tree if you want to fight for this base. If you're playing heaven and the enemy team is going through this choke point, you can also flash right here. Or if you're playing drop and the enemy team is going through tree, you can also flash right here. And the AppChoke on A can go into rubble. Or if you get all the way up here, you can also AppChoke root, but this one should only be attempted if you have teammates covering you or you know that the enemy here is stunned, because otherwise this is incredibly risky. And if the enemy team has a chamber, you can actually put an AppChoke right here at the start of the round, because the chamber will very likely put a teleport here, walk into A main, try to take a peek and teleport back. So if your teammates can force him to teleport, you might very well kill him with the AppChoke. And if you're playing backside, you can also AppChoke right here to delay the enemy entering through A main, or you can AppChoke right here to delay the enemy entering through tree. And you can also listen for the Skydog, Sovadron or the Gecko ultimate from over here. If you're retaking A, there are 4 stuns. The first stun is for drop, and we want to make sure that we hit this spot and also anyone playing behind this wall. You're not going to hit the deep corner over here, but it is more likely that someone's playing over here. And the second stun is for trees. If the enemy team has planted the spike over here somewhere, they're very likely to play the post plant in tree in an off angle around here somewhere, so you can stun like this. And you can also go over here and stun like this instead. And the third stun is for this spot, and this spot. And you can also do that from over here, but you will not hit heaven and under heaven. And you can also do it from over here. Just make sure you've cleared A main if you want to do these last 2 lineups. And the last stun is if the enemy team has planted the spike right here and is playing the post plant from A main. You can stun like this. And you can also stun more to the left over here. And the flashes in a retake can go right here to hit heaven, drop, under heaven, the side right here, front side, tree, and outside. And the AppChoke in a retake can go into drop like this, or slightly angled to hit anyone playing behind this wall and box. It can go on the side or front side. You can also AppChoke into tree, and this is very good together with a flash. Or if the enemy has planted the spike right here and is playing from A main, you can also AppChoke like this. If you're defending B, there are 4 stuns. The first stun is for B main, so if you have a teammate that wants to peek B main really aggressive, you can stun like this. The second stun is if you're playing A link and the enemy team is executing through B main, you can stun like this. And the third stun is the same thing, but you're playing from B heaven instead. Or from C link. And the last stun is actually for C main, so if you're playing B and the enemy team is executing C, you can stun like this. And this is definitely one of the stuns I use the most on Lotus. The flashes on B can go through this wall right here. This one travels for quite a while, so you have time to get your gun out. Just make sure you don't team flash anyone rotating through C link. And we can also flash below plateau right here. We do this so we don't team flash anyone playing over here. But if we have no teammates there, we can also flash through this wall right here. And if we have a teammate that wants to go really aggressive into B main, we can also flash through this wall right here. And if we want to fight for B main, we can also flash through this wall. And the AppChoke can be used right here to delay the enemies execute through B main. And since Gecko is pretty common on Lotus, one thing we can look out for is the wingman plant right here. So we can cancel that with an AppChoke through this wall. And you can also listen for the Skydog, Sovadron and the Gecko ultimate from right here, and sometimes even from right here. If you're retaking B, there are 5 stuns. The first stun will hit this spot, under plateau and plateau. And another variant of this is stunning at an angle to hit this spot, under plat and also A link instead. The second stun is for B main from C main, and this one should preferably be done with a teammate opening the door as you stun. The third stun will hit plat, under plat, and anyone playing A-link ready to swing off of their teammate's contact. And stun number 4 will hit anyone playing under plat and in this corner. And the last stun is for B main, so if the enemy team has planted right here and is playing the post plant from B main, you can stun like this. In a retake, we want to flash up high instead of below plat, so we flash anyone sitting in this corner. Just make sure your teammates are looking away so they don't get team flashed as you're doing this one. And we can also flash through this wall. This will flash the entire bomb site, or under plat, a link, or if we're rotating through C link, we can flash through this wall, or this wall if you want to fight for B main. The after can go through this wall to clear plat, or force anyone playing under plat to go deeper into the stairs area or to go backwards. We can also use the after to clear under plat and make sure no one can swing from A main. And if we're rotating through C-link, we can aftershock through this wall right here to clear on top of the box and below the box. Just make sure that you aftershock through the wall and not the box, because if we aftershock through the box like we are right now, they can stand on top of the box and avoid the aftershock, so right here. And we can also use the aftershock to clear plat like this, under plat like this, A-link, or right side B main. If you're defending C, there are 5 stuns. The first stun is if your team wants to fight the enemy in C lobby, you can stun like this. And this stun is also doable from over here at a slightly different angle. The second stun is if the enemy team is executing C, you can stun like this. And the third stun is if the enemy team is executing C and you're playing bend, you can stun like this. The fourth stun is if you're playing on the bomb site and the enemy team is executing C, you can stun like this. And the last stun is actually for B main, so if the enemy team is executing B, you can stun B main like this. And preferably you should have a teammate opening the door at the same time as you're stunning. If you have a teammate that wants to peek C main, you can flash through this wall right here. We can also flash below plateau right here. And also C main, just make sure you flash low so you don't flash anyone on plateau. And if you're playing bend, you can flash through this wall right here. This flash travels for a while, so you have time to get your gun out. You can also flash right here if you want to peek C main yourself. Just make sure you flash really high so you flash anyone behind C mount. And the aftershock can go right here to delay the enemy's execute onto C. This is probably my most used aftershock on Lotus overall. It's very, very strong. And you can also do a variant of this from plateau. And you can also listen for the Skydog, Sovadron and the Gek ultimate from over here, and sometimes even from over here. If you're retaking C, there are 2 stuns. The first stun is for bend, and this stun is the one I use every single time I retake C if the enemy team is playing the post plant on the bomb site. The second stun is if the enemy team is playing the post plant from C main, we can stun and hit this corner and also C mount. And in a retake, we can flash through this wall right here to clear this corner. And we can also flash C bend through this pillar, below plateau. Or if the enemy team is playing the post plant from outside, we can also flash through this wall. Just make sure you flash really high so you get anyone playing behind C mount. And we can also flash through C mount. And the aftershock in a retake can go into this corner right here. Or you can go below plateau right here to prevent anyone from hiding after you stun them in C bend. Or if the enemy team is playing the post plant from C main, you can also aftershock behind C mount. Just be very careful when you do this one so you don't die with util in hand. Time for some examples, so we're going to start with a C bend stun in a retake on C, and this clip should show you exactly why I use this stun every single retake. The next clip is the full retake package on C with the stun on bend and then the aftershock to stop them from hiding. This is pretty much my standard C retake and it works really well every single time I do it. And the next clip is the angled stun towards the A door when the enemy team presses the switch. I'm gonna show you this clip multiple times with different agents and different guns just to show you exactly how strong this stun can be.
One more today.
The one coming side.
This next stun can be really risky because they can be stunning to the right outside the radius of the stun, but it can also be really good. In this next clip I stun B main while the chamber is opening the door, and this one really does require a teammate because you do not have time to run to the switch and then back, because then the enemy will have time to hide from the stun or the stun will just expire. And in this clip I stun C main from waterfall, which helps the Cypher get 2 kills with the sheriff.
Go see. Insane stun, bro.
And here I'm gonna show you the aftershock on Gecko and also how you can easily stop a C push with a well placed stun from Bend.
Oh yeah! Monster on the loose! Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
In these last few clips I'm gonna show you the aftershock for chamber on A, but also the aftershock for Gecko, Sova and Sky on A and B.
I know exactly. Oh yeah! Monster on the loose!
And that's it for this one. Thank you so much again for watching, and if you found this helpful, please leave a comment, a like and subscribe, and I'll hopefully see you on the next one.